no, it's not madness. I do believe the Honda CBR600F really is one bike for all. No matter who you are, if you're a biker, you can quite probably get on with one of these. If you're somebody that's never fancied sports style bikes, these are probably the most comfortable sports style bike you'll ever buy. They caused the craze back in the day, and they're still a damn good bike now. Let's go for a ride and see why.
The iconic Honda CBR600F. This bike is a 1998 model, so it's pretty much coming up to the last of the carbureted versions. They are about 98 horsepower, about 190 kilos, something of that nature. Previous to this, they was slightly heavier, not by much, and slightly less powerful. After this bike, they brought out what they called the Ultima Light version, which was the aluminium frame, and then they brought out the fuel injection and managed to up the power by about another 7 or 8 horsepower. So by the time it finished, 2006, 7, 8, there was a bike 170 kilos, about 108 horsepower, quite a good power to weight ratio. Now in America they actually named this bike the Hurricane, and with good reason. The riding position on these is obviously very sports orientated, but you have got quite a lot of legroom, and if you're somebody that's been thinking of a sports bike but worried about the strain on your wrists and your neck and so forth, this is probably about as good as it's going to get while still retaining being a sports bike. The foot pegs are quite low, which gives a comfy riding position. Only slight downside to that is that if you do want to get your knee down, obviously the pegs can ground out that little bit sooner. Seat on this is very wide and comfortable, hence why they sort of brought this into the sports tourer category at the time, and it still is today. Your dashboard cockpit area is typically 90s on this. You've got a large rev counter and speedo and a temperature gauge, no fuel gauge. So on the carbureted version you'll be looking to swap over to on reserve about 130. Fuel injected models did have a fuel light, but they'll just run out about 150. They really was a good little engine back in their day, and they still are today. You've actually got, for a 600, quite a bit of power low down. It really starts to sting once you get in the upper rev range. They're great fun. But in saying that as well, you can sit at the national speed limit and it's not screaming, which is quite good. The suspension on these is all adjustable, so you can tweak it and get it for your style and weight as well. The actual ride quality itself is surprising, especially for a bike that was designed in the late 80s, early 90s. The ride quality is very good. I've personally spent many days on one of these, and can honestly report back that I've came home and not felt worn out or stiff, wrists okay. These bikes are so practical for so many people. That's why I say it's one size fits all, really. No matter who you are, you can probably get along with one of these. There's been no major horror stories with them. They've been very reliable. Cam chain tensioner failure is fairly common, but it's not a massive fix and it's not very expensive. But barring that, I've seen examples on the market with 90,000 miles on them, which for a 600 is pretty damn good. Brakes on these are actually very, very good. They're not obviously quite up to the standards of a current model bike, but there's not a gaping chasm between the two. Obviously there's no ABS or stuff like that. This being the carb model, it's even got a fuel tap and a choke. But then that just adds to the character. These bikes are sort of becoming classic items now. I think that everybody who's quite seriously into their biking should have one of these tucked away in their garage. They're so much fun. They'd be quite practical as well. For a sports bike, the mirrors on these are very good as well. You can see well over 3/4 vision. Yeah, quite good. They're a very forgiving bike to ride, especially for a 600. A lot of modern 600s, you've got to keep them in the power range, in the sweet spot the whole time. These are very forgiving. You know, if you've got a missed gear or in the wrong gear, they will chug away and get you out of trouble. But then on the flip side to that, once you get it up in the upper reaches of the rev count, they start singing, and they're tremendous fun and do have quite a lot of power, really. Because these bikes have been around for ages and ages, obviously spare parts are readily available and relatively cheap as well. It's always something worth bearing in mind with a used bike. There's no point buying one and then you can't get spares for it.
CBR600F. It's one of those bikes I can see virtually any bike going on with. Very easy to ride, great fun, very practical too. So yeah, I can't really envisage anybody that wouldn't get on with one. They really are a great all-round bike. Anyway, thanks for watching, have fun.